Hello, you guys. Welcome back to our channel. It is your girl Z and my husband
Charles.
And I forgot how to do this.
You forgot how to do this?
I forgot how to do this.
Okay,
I feel like I haven't made a video in a while. Chime in, help your wife out.
Okay, so first off, you should like and subscribe.
Down below.
If you're new to our channel, we make a lot of videos in our car because that's about the only time that we get a little bit of quiet. Z is a family medicine doctor. I'm an actuary. I work from home. She does not. We have 3 kids. We're building a house. Check out our other videos.
Yeah, and we just make videos about our life or kind of what's in our mind. So one of our lovely family or subscribers, what I like to call it, made a comment that we should talk about how we met or the first date. Is that what it was?
Yeah, she requested, and I'll throw it up here in the recording. She requested that we talk about how we met and what it was like on our first date.
Okay, so I'll start off with the how we met, and then I'll get your take, and then we'll go into the first date.
Now, we have a whole video about how we met that's like 30 minutes of just how we met.
Yeah, so quick snippet, we met online, right? After a very tiresome journey of being online or doing online dating. We met through a dating app, right? One of the popular dating apps.
And just for a little background, so the mother of 2 of our children passed away not very long before Z and I met. So I was a widower at the time that Z and I met. And fast forward now, we're married and we have a lovely little baby of our own who's like 23 months now. But anyway,
yeah, he's almost gonna be 2.
So we're going back in time to when it was just a couple months-ish after I'd lost the kid's mom.
Correct. And so let's go to the first date. Our first date was a few weeks after we actually swiped yes to each other on this dating app. And
we can tell them what app it is, can't we?
No.
We cannot? Okay.
No, we cannot.
Okay.
And
it's not one of the questionable ones.
Correct. Okay. And prior to us going on the first date, we had talked here and there. It wasn't consistent. Charles had told me that his former wife had passed away not so long ago. So I was still in that, I'm really unsure. Am I just a rebounder?
She thought I was crazy.
No. I didn't think you were crazy. I just didn't know if he was still grieving and if I was kind of just a rebound. So we were still trying to feel each other out. And I think the same for you too. And initially I thought that Charles really didn't want to meet me because I initiated I started with the question like, hey, let's meet up. And you remember what you told me when I first asked you about going on a date?
What did I say?
He told me it was his birthday weekend. He told me
Which
that
is true.
Well, I thought it was just a little, excuse. And he told me, oh, my dad and I have the same birthday. We're going to go out. And in my mind, I was like, just tell me you don't want to go out. That's okay. Right. And subsequently, we still ended up talking periodically. And I think about a week later, we decided to have our first date. Right. And where did we decide to have our first date?
We went to a sushi restaurant.
Correct.
And it was like the sushi restaurant. It was the big popular sushi restaurant that you go to if you live in this city where Z lived at the time.
Correct. Now, walk me through, what were your thoughts leading up to the date? Like the day before, the day of the date? Because the date, it was an evening date that we had set up. And I believe it was a Friday, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, it was a Friday,
yeah.
And it was a big thing for me because I had to drive about 2 hours to get to where she was living. Had to find childcare for my kids at the time who were 3 and 2 years old.
Yeah.
And so I had to find childcare to be able to get away to go out. And I had not been dating for 8 years. So I really had no idea what to do.
Were you nervous? Were you excited? Were you, did you feel like, why did I decide to go on this date, or?
All of the above, and I also had like imposter syndrome because
What do you mean by that?
like I didn't feel like a dating person. You know what I mean? Because previously I was a husband, I was a dad, I was like, I was doing the whole suburb family thing.
Yeah.
And then like poof, all of a sudden I'm cast back out into the being single and dating world. And yeah, I had imposter syndrome. I had a lot, I felt like I knew consciously that this is what I should be doing, but I felt like I don't belong here. You know what I mean? It's like, because it was also so new to me. I felt like I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what I didn't know what people did these days when they went out.
Let's see. I think for me, I was excited. We had a good conversation, but I also didn't want to I didn't want to have too high expectations, right? Prior to Charles, I had dated a few people, and, some were really nice. It just didn't quite hit. They didn't set my soul on fire, is what I like to say. And Charles seemed nice enough, but I knew there was a lot, right? Because I was in residency at the time. I didn't come into our relationship with any children. We lived at the time about an hour and a half away.
2 hours the way I had to go.
Or 2 hours at that time, the way that you were driving. And so there was a lot of factors, I think, in play that could work against us not working out, right?
I feel like everything really worked against us.
Yeah, you having children, being in a different phase, being in your career. I was still working on my career, no children, distance. I was the first Black woman that you dated.
I was gonna say that was like one of the big ones initially, was the black-white thing.
Yeah, I mean, not for me, because I had dated, individuals from all walks of life, different ethnicities, different races. So that wasn't new to me, but it was new to you. And that was also something else that I was cautious about, because I've dated, or I've gone on dates with individuals where I felt that, being with a Black woman was more so of, for lack of a better way to describe it, an experiment, right? Just testing out.
You used to use the word fetishized.
Yeah, that would probably be a better word. And so I didn't know, you were grown, older. So I'm like, why at this point in your life, this is the first time, that you've dated a Black woman? But that was neither here or there. I felt as if we had good conversation, but I did have some pent up, concern leading into the date. But I'm going to go to the actual day of the date, right?
Yeah.
Or evening of the date. So I took an Uber out to this sushi place, right? And if you know me, I hate driving. I was already nervous. This was downtown. I don't like driving at night. So I said, I'm going to take an Uber, right? So I take the Uber, and I saw him. He didn't see me, but I saw you paying for parking, right? And he had on this purple shirt. And I'm like, he's trying to wear my color. He's really trying to woo me.
Did I even know purple was your color then?
You did, because you told me that you were purple because you knew it was my favorite color. So I was like, okay. I'm watching him, right? Just making sure the vibes were set up appropriately. And tell me, what was your thoughts when you reached the location?
I'm trying to remember. Did I see you right away, or I
know I saw you first because I was in the car in the Uber cruising past. Yeah.
I went up to the location. It's one of these places that's on a corner, and it's kind of in an urban area, and so it's a multiple story building, with curbs, people standing on the curb, and it's a popular place. So there's a wait list, and people standing around having drinks, stuff like that. So I'm kind of hanging out there in front, like waiting for emergency to show up.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I called you or you called me, but pretty much the gist of it, we were letting each other know that we were there, right?
Yeah.
And I remember when we first met up right in front of the sushi place, I could tell that you were nervous.
Of course I was nervous.
It just like oozed off of you, the nerves. I
had no idea what I was doing.
I don't know if I appear nervous, but it was nice though, right? It was kind of endearing that you were a little bit nervous. And so, like we said, a popular sushi place, so we had to wait. And so we walked to I think, neighboring outdoor seating area. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's a real nice little place, like a common eating area in between a bunch of different shops.
Correct. And I thought it was cute. I had on this little romper and heels, and I had my legs all shined up and lotioned up. And I remember sitting down, and he kept on looking at my legs. And at first I was
trying to side eye, but it was horrible.
It was horrible, okay? And I was like, I didn't say anything, but I'm like, if he don't look me in my eyes, we're having a whole conversation. So I'm not gonna lie, that made me, it was cute, but it also made it a little awkward for me, because then I was like, is he just into the physical? What's going on, right? And then that leads me to when we actually sat down. We sat down, I think, outside. Ooh, slow down, baby cakes.
Okay.
We're driving. And I think that's where I kind of settled in and I got comfortable with you. Do you remember anything in particular that we spoke about?
We spoke about everything.
We did.
We spoke about everything. We talked about where we'd been, where we're going, I
was really, I think, focusing on, like, was this just, were you looking for, you know, a little fling, or were you intentionally dating? I think I was really focused in on that.
That was actually your words, dating with intention.
Oh, see, look, and I still feel that the same way. And that's where I was, right? You meet a lot of these, you know, male or females, right? And I think it's really important. For me, it was really important to kind of verify that he really was, how do I want to say it, that he was intentionally dating. I feel like that's a great way to phrase it. I didn't want to be a fling. I didn't want to do casual dating. I didn't want to do the friends with benefits. I was in my 30s. I wasn't into that. And that's no disrespect to anybody who that's their thing, but that's just not what I was looking for. So I want to make sure that we were on the same page.
And I'll tell you, from my situation, I had never been in a relationship with a person who was a professional person. I mean, let alone a physician, and so but at the same time, one of the things that I was concerned about coming out of the relationship I'd been in and kind of coming out into the world around me in the suburbs is I didn't want to step into a relationship with somebody who was looking to be just like a replacement stay-at-home mom with my kids.
You know what's funny? Sorry not to cut you off. It's funny though, that was one of my insecurities, that you came from a marriage where you had a stay-at-home wife, and that's a full-time job, but that was not me, right? I was going to be, in my mind, a working mom, and I didn't know what that dynamic would look like between us, or if you could adjust to that kind of setup there. So that was a concern for me.
Yeah, I knew, I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but I knew what I wasn't looking for, if that makes sense.
Okay.
If that makes sense. I wasn't looking to like jump into another similar situation to what I had, because I wanted to make sure, you know, I would rather just raise the kids alone than be in a situation with somebody who maybe is with me just to get like some security. You know, or something like that, and who like puts up with my kids. You know, that I knew in my heart that was what I needed to be afraid of.
Oh, that's true. And I think I've always made it clear to you, I chose you, right? And I choose to love our beautiful 8-year-old and now 7-year-old kiddos, right? But I wasn't with you out of necessity.
Right.
Right.
And I love that.
Right. And anyway, going back to where I think we're veering off topic, that is how we met. And that was our first date. I felt comfortable enough, I think, during our conversation with our first date for you to even take me home, right?
Yeah, and I was so jazzed about that, because like I could tell that, you know, she's somebody who really thinks things through and is really guarded about things. But then instead of taking the Uber home, she let me drive her home. So she
Now, careful, I wouldn't recommend that for everybody, right? Really, you know, I told him after the fact, I Googled, I looked at his history, if there was any type of, if he were jailed in the past. I looked everything up. I knew where he lived, his address. I think I messaged one of my friends, his name. Like, I thoroughly vetted him to make sure I wasn't getting into an awkward situation.
So don't try this at home?
Pretty much. But pretty much after that day, we literally spoke every day after that, right? Like I said, I was in residency, so a lot of time was spent away from Charles and the kiddos. Every night we looked forward, or at least I looked forward to talking to Charles, telling him what I was happy about, what I was angry about. And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
Here we are, what is it, 6 years later?
Yeah.
Or 5 years and some change later, married, building a house, an extra kiddo to the bunch. Well, anyway, you guys, let us know, for those of you who are married or in long-term relationships, what's your first date story? Remember to like and subscribe down below. We'll catch you guys later.